we believe that the world is changing and the data demand on national statistical offices is huge. Our traditional data systems are not adequate in meeting the current demand. So national statistical offices globally, especially in the global south, we need to look at these opportunities that are presented with a lot of data that is held privately by institutions and tap into this data.
The Data for Good partnership, it's basically a private-public partnership. Ghana Statistical Service, as we must be aware, is responsible for producing official statistics for national development purposes. We try to source every avenue that makes it possible for us to be able to meet that.
This partnership model in Ghana is really exciting because it's a chance to really grow the impact that we're able to have as an organisation. GSS is really the keystone in this partnership, enabling us to share our expertise through them with a broad range of government departments and agencies, all of whom can benefit from the really exciting opportunities that CGR data can have.
Now, this partnership agreement allows us to work with a great team or a great organization like Flowminder. Flowminder uses its expertise to process the data that Vodafone gives us, and then GSS uses that data to be able to develop national statistics out of that.
We at Ghana Statistical Service are very excited about this partnership. For one, it gave us the opportunity to demonstrate what the SDG Goal 17 is about, partnerships. Leveraging partnerships to achieve the goals. But you can leverage partnerships with Vodafone, with Flowminder, and of course the resources provided by Hewlett Foundation and Vodafone Foundation to do this.
The value for the phase one for the Data for Good project to Vodafone Ghana was quite immense, actually, because the Data for Good project at the time was one of the first in Africa and was also the first in Ghana. So to have Vodafone Ghana that positions itself as a technology company to be involved in something as cutting edge as this project where we're collaborating with the Ghana Statistical Service and then Flowminder. For us, it was immensely beneficial. Again, from Vodafone acting as a company that provided the data, and Flowminder and GSS were able to analyze that and have other ministries, departments and agencies tap into this data to see what was possible in terms of their policy making.
It's a really exciting opportunity for us to demonstrate the value that it can add, the opportunities it opens up, and we really encourage other NSOs to get in contact with us and find out more about how we can try and replicate this model elsewhere and open up more opportunities for the use of CGR across the continent.
In terms of some of the benefits that came up for the Data for Good project, we see that the possibilities are immense in terms of the collaborations that we can do with all of these ministries, departments and agencies. But specifically during the phase one, between 2019 and the end of 2021, and as we all know, that was during the time of the COVID pandemic. Just a couple of days after Ghana had its lockdown effected from the COVID pandemic, the Data for Good project team were able to publish a mobility analysis to see what movements was like within the country, especially when the lockdown was effected. So with this kind of information that was published, it provided information to the government to be able to see what the effects of the lockdown that they had effected was having on the people.
In the phase one, we focus on building the capacity of GSS. But in phase two, we have expanded the scope to include many other MDAs, where the use cases will be built along. So we want people from these institutions to be part of it. When you're using mobility data, it helps you with resource allocation. When there are communicable diseases, we take the common one that we are used to in Ghana, which is cholera. There's cholera outbreak in a particular place. So you will need to understand where are people moving to so that the health system can adequately prepare in those areas.
Looking back from phase one, I think that what I would envision for phase two is to be able to onboard other mobile network operators. Having them on board would widen the scope and make the data that is analyzed the more accurate. The second phase is for a 5-year duration, and hopefully by the end of the 5 years, policy making would be centered on data. That is how I see us moving forward as a nation. So it's based on data, and data-centered policies are efficient.